everybody. Welcome back to my PGA DFS top 5 values of the week. And we're back with the Tournament of Champions held out in Maui at Kapalua Plantation Golf Course. And these are fun videos. I like, we implemented these last couple of weeks of the regular PGA Tour season. And I think it's just a better way to get you guys the information that you need to make your lineups quickly and as best as you can. So we're going to keep with this. It seems like by the comments and feedback that you enjoyed them. So we'll give them another go. And here we are with our first one of the week, top 5 values. I always put this one out Monday night. You're going to get it Tuesday morning pretty easily, because I think when we're looking down, when we first get salaries, somewhere around 1 or 2 o'clock on Monday, probably the first and easiest thing to see is values. Now, sometimes those values, because they're so obvious, turn into higher owned plays. Sometimes they don't, and that's why sometimes they can end up actually on the fade list as well. That happened a couple of times when we were doing it last. So again, this is the first video we put out. And basically, it's the first perceived values that we see. Just wanted to make that clear, kind of what you can expect. So let's go ahead and top off with a guy that you saw on the top, Collin Morikawa. Now, here's a guy last year that obviously he won the PGA Championship. He's a major winner now, and he really just burst onto the scene. But now, a little bit of regression recently. Not a great start at Augusta for his first time. He's coming in at 8,800, right around the same price where he was when the PGA Championship hit. If you're playing over on FanDuel, 10,100, still below the average. So actually maybe even a little bit cheaper on FanDuel, given by the average player over there. In his one time coming here to Maui, which was last year, he came in 7th. So pretty good start for a guy at a course that's rather tricky to figure out on your first attempt. His recent form, he came in 10th, though, when he went over to Dubai. So it looks like form isn't too far back. Obviously, I mentioned the 44th at Augusta, so not his best. But here's where it's been struggling a little bit recently. He's 242nd in strokes gained putting on the new year. Wow, that's pretty terrible. But as you can see, when he's on 21st on strokes gained off the tee, 21st strokes gained around the green, and 2nd on the approach. These are a mixture of numbers between the 2020 and the 2021 season numbers. Just because we don't have a ton of information for the new season, not a ton of tournaments, so not a lot of data points to go off of. Like to mix them up a little bit there. So Collin Morikawa, again, I think he's a great value this week. I don't think he's going to end up on the fade list for me this week. I think with the way this tournament ends up, 42 players in a no-cut event, I think that's pretty clear that ownership will be pretty spread out amongst these guys. Plus, it's pretty good pricing as well, so we like all of that. All right, the second guy I want to talk about, Scottie Scheffler. He had an interesting year last year, had a chance at a major at the PGA, similar to Collin Morikawa. But then he got COVID, and his play kind of went through a little bit of a lag. But he started to make a little bit of comeback. He's at 8,500 on DraftKings, 9,700 on FanDuel. Came in 19th and 32nd in his last 2 appearances. Had a pretty good showing there at Augusta in his first time, making the cut rather easily. This will be his first time here. He's never won a tournament, but he did make made the Tour Championship, which was one of the qualifications to get in here this year. So Scottie Scheffler would be funny. Of course, one of the guys that could win their first PGA Tour event being the Tournament of Champions. How ironic would that be? In terms of his strokes gained numbers, he's 8th off the tee, so very good, which should do very well for him here. 50th on the approach, 131 around the green, and 118 putting. But here's a guy, he can get really hot, especially early on in an event. So take a look out for Scottie Scheffler. 8,500 on DraftKings, a pretty reasonable price. The third guy here I'm going to talk about, and anytime he's below 8,000 in a no-cut event, you can pretty much pencil this guy in to be in a lot of my lineups and in this value section, and it's Cameron Champ. He's obviously in a no-cut event where there's 16 par 5s that he's going to play with his elite length off the tee. He's just the guy you want in your lineups. He's coming in at 7,900 on DraftKings, and he's even cheaper on FanDuel, coming in at 8,600. Like him a lot there. Obviously, I just mentioned how good he is off the tee. Well, he ranked 2nd last year off the tee, 62nd on approaches this year, so it looks like the irons are coming around, which certainly will help him. Around the green, 93rd, not bad. Shouldn't need it that much this week, but it's the putting. Oof, this year it's been really bad. One of the worst, 248th on the year, yowzers. So obviously, if Champ can catch a little bit of a putting prowess, he'll definitely look to jolt up the leaderboard. Came in 14th here last year in his first start, so we like that, especially given the fact that he actually did putt well here last year, so maybe he likes these greens. Something to certainly look forward to. 19th and 8th in his last 2 appearances, came in 19th at Augusta. Really good start for him there, so and that was with a big number on Sunday, so Cam Champ, like him a lot here this week. Fourth guy I'm going to talk about in this at least video. Normally I don't bring this stuff up in videos like this, that there's such a price discrepancy, but Sebastian Munoz is the same price on DraftKings as he is on FanDuel. So if you play over on FanDuel, obviously Sebastian Munoz's value is superb. Even on DraftKings, though, at 7,500, it's not bad. The recent form, 2 missed cuts in a row. That was after a really good start at Augusta, so it's not like the form is too far gone, plus we're guaranteed 4 days. Munoz came in 17th here last year, and he's a guy that kind of does a little bit of everything. Nothing great, but nothing bad either. 54th off the tee, 70th on his approaches, 51st around the green, and 103rd putting. So Sebastian Munoz, again, FanDuel, obviously, I would grade him as an A value, if you follow along on our Awesemo projections. And, of course, if you don't, well, perfect time for me to tell you about a promo going on. All you got to do is use promo code 2021, and what you're going to get is 21 days of Awesemo Plus for just $20. Or if you're willing to join us or want to join us for the year, which of course you're going to get the best value on, use promo code HAPPY. You're going to get 20% off there. So some great promo codes going on. Take advantage of those while they last. Speaking of last, the last guy in my top 5 values here this week is a min-priced Robert Streb. Now listen, one of these guys goes off, they're going to need to be in your lineup, likely to win a GPP. So my pick is going to be Robert Streb. A couple of reasons. One, first, he just won in his last event, so he's coming in good form. Didn't play after his win at the RSM. Second, he came in 8th. His previous win at the RSM Classic, then came to Maui. He came in 8th in a similar time frame. So I kind of like that. I think it's a good omen. Plus, at 6,000, you really can't go wrong if he puts up 60 points, especially in the contests that are not the massive GPPs like your single entries. I think he could be a very good value if he hits that $60 mark. Same thing on FanDuel, I'm pretty sure. Yep, he is min-priced over there as well. Off the tee, 119th, 147th on the approaches, 192nd around the green, 92nd putting. Listen, he won, but they only got, I think, at most 3 strokes gained numbers from it. So obviously, given the fact that he had some other bad starts mixed in there, it wasn't enough to bump up the numbers. So I wouldn't look too much into those. Still, we're not playing him for strokes gained numbers. We're playing him for the fact that he can score. And given the fact, if you look at his player log, even if you include in some of those Korn Ferry Tour starts, which DraftKings does offer, puts up a decent amount of DraftKings points. So I like going after that or chasing that for a mid-priced Robert Streb. So hopefully you liked my top 5 values. Of course, you mix in some of these guys with some of the top-end guys. Maybe you'll end up with a top GPP lineup here this week, given the fact that it's a 42-man no-cut event. Certainly, these players in a normal event, I would say, hey, in a normal cut event, I would say, hey, these guys are good to look at for your cash lineups, even maybe here a little bit this week. But I think with the structure of it only being 42 players and a no-cut, you can be a little bit more aggressive here. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. And, of course, I'll be back again tomorrow with my top 5 sleeper picks, which, again, there's only 42 guys. So, I'm going to be picking, over 10% of them if you want to look at it from a statistical perspective. So maybe not too many chances to go against the grain, but we'll find a couple of them. And then, of course, my top 5 fate coming out on Wednesday. These are guys that are not going to be found in any of my big dollar lineups, maybe a couple of my GPPs, and guys that I just think might be a little bit overvalued here this week, so keep a lookout for that. And, of course, if you're into betting, wow, we've got some great betting content coming out here this year, put out, of course, by Jeff Ulrich, Ben Raza, and I. One of those is going to be, if you're into the short-form videos, one of those is going to be my top 5 bets of the week, plus a couple of articles there as well. So, until next time, everybody, thank you for joining. And, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. So anytime these goes live, which, they'll vary in time a little bit depending on when we get information, you'll get notified right away so you can come and check it out. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comments below as well. And until next time, everybody, thank you so much for coming. And we'll see you on the other side. Cheers.